Okay, so let's dive in. Today, we are going deep on two of the most common employer savings plans you're probably going to see. We're
Uh-huh.
talking about that, that alphabet soup of retirement savings,
Mhm.
the DPSP, the deferred profit sharing plan.
And the GRRSP, the Group Registered Retirement Savings Plan.
Exactly. So if you've ever looked at your benefits package and wondered, wait, is my employer gifting me money or are they just helping me manage my own? This deep dive is definitely for you.
Right, and our mission here is really to get past just the dry definitions.
For sure.
We need to distill the key differences, we need to look at the contribution rules, and I think most importantly,
The withdrawal
the
option.
withdrawal and transfer options, yeah.
Yeah.
We want to make sure you know exactly how these plans slot into your bigger financial picture.
And especially how they affect your taxes down the road.
Your tax flexibility, absolutely.
And I think we should just get the big hook out there right away. This is
Okay.
the single biggest thing that both of these plans share, and it's what makes them so different from, traditional pensions.
This is the critical piece of insight. Unlike those old-school defined benefit plans,
The really rigid ones.
exactly, both DPSPs and GRRSPs have a fundamental characteristic. The savings are not locked in,
Ah,
and they're also not governed by that really strict provincial or federal pension standards legislation.
so that gives you a level of financial fluidity, I guess you could call it.
Financial fluidity, I
Yeah.
like that. It's a level of control that older models just don't offer.
Okay, let's unpack this then. And I think we should start with the DPSP. The name itself, Deferred Profit Sharing Plan, kind of gives the game away.
It really does. It's offered by companies, specifically, as a way to share a portion of their business profits with their employees.
So it connects the employee's bottom line directly to how well the company is doing.
Precisely. The better the company performs, the bigger that contribution pool can potentially be.
That makes a ton of sense as an incentive, right? But the sources pointed out a really firm line in the sand about who can't participate.
Yes, and this is a crucial nugget of information. The company, they set their own eligibility, maybe based on how long you've worked there. But there is a hard rule from the CRA. Significant shareholders of the company and their close family members are explicitly ineligible.
So it's designed to be a reward for the worker, not another investment vehicle for the owners.
You've got it. That's the intent.
That is a stark distinction. So let's talk about the money actually flowing into the plan, because this is where the DPSP really starts to impact an employee's taxes down the line. Who funds this thing?
So this is key. Contributions are made only by the employer.
Only.
Only. Employees cannot contribute their own money to a DPSP. You should think of it as a kind of employer bonus, just structured for tax deferral.
So it's purely gravy from the company side.
It is. Now, there's no minimum required contribution. It really is up to the employer, but there is a maximum limit. The annual contribution can't be more than the lesser of two numbers: 18% of your annual pay or 50% of something called the Defined Contribution Pension Plan limit, the DCPP limit.
Right, and that DCPP link is important. For most people, 18% of their income is a huge number.
It is.
But for high earners, that 50% of the DCPP limit is the real ceiling you need to watch. It's basically the government's way of making sure the benefit doesn't get, excessive.
Exactly. It's the maximum tax-deferred growth you can get from an employer like this. And since it is deferred profit sharing, there is a vesting period before that money is truly yours.
How long do you have to wait?
The vesting is a maximum of 2 years.
That's pretty quick.
It is, yeah. It's a
Right.
much faster timeline than some older pension models. And going back to that fluidity point we made, the value of the DPSP is not locked in, even while you're still employed.
So you could, in theory, make a withdrawal.
You may be able to, yes.
Yeah.
But you have to really think about the tax hit.
That flexibility sounds great, especially since the plan member gets to control how the money is invested. The company puts the money in, but you choose the portfolio. That sounds like a win-win.
On the surface, it absolutely is.
Yeah.
But, and this is maybe the most critical piece of knowledge about the DPSP, there's a major strategic trade-off:
Okay.
the tax implications.
Mm-hmm.
Employer contributions to a DPSP create something called a pension adjustment,
Yeah.
or a PA.
Right. Let's start and unpack that PA, because this is where the future planning comes in. What does a pension adjustment actually do to your personal finances?
Okay, so think of your available RRSP contribution room as a big bucket you get to fill each year.
Mm-hmm.
If your employer puts money into a DPSP for you this year, that pension adjustment acts like a future debt against that bucket, takes a scoop out.
So it reduces your available room for the following year?
It Directly and permanently reduces the available RRSP contribution room for the employee for the following year. Yes.
So if my company puts $5,000 in my DPSP this year, my personal RRSP room for next year is $5,000 smaller.
Yes.
Even though I didn't contribute that money myself, it's like the government saying, hey, you already got a tax break on that money from the company, so we're shrinking your personal tax shelter.
Precisely. They're preventing what they'd see as double dipping into tax-advantaged savings space. So you have to factor those DPSP contributions into your total retirement plan because they are eating up that precious RRSP room.
And what if you do pull that money out, like we mentioned? What's the tax hit?
The rules are very simple. All withdrawals are taxable to you at the same rate as your regular income.
No special treatment.
No special capital gains rate, nothing. It's just added right on top of your annual income.
Okay, that frames the DPSP structure incredibly well. It's a great tool, but one you have to actively manage. So let's pivot to what happens when you leave the company or retire. What are the exit strategies?
Right, this is where that portability and flexibility come back into play. When you leave, you have a few good options.
Okay.
The most direct is just receiving the proceeds as a lump sum. But again, you have to be ready for that immediate tax bill.
Which could be big.
Could be very big. Or you could purchase an annuity, which would give you a guaranteed income stream for life.
And I'm guessing the most popular option is to just keep the tax-deferred growth going, right?
Absolutely. You can transfer the funds directly into your personal RSP or a RIF.
And that's seamless because the DPSP contribution already reduced your RRSP room in the past.
Exactly. You're just moving money that's already been accounted for from a tax-deferred perspective.
And what if you're not retiring? Say you're just moving to a new job.
In that case, you might also have the option to transfer the plan's value to another registered pension plan, an RPP, or even another DPSP if your no employer has one and.
And if they accept transfers?
If they accept transfers, yeah. That non-locked-in status just makes all this transition so much smoother.
Okay, that DPSP model is super clear. Employer-only funding. But here's where it gets really interesting, comparing that to the GRRSP. The Group Registered Retirement Savings Plan. It sounds like just a regular RRSP, but with a group discount. What's the real story?
Well, you've pretty much nailed the core idea. A GRRSP is structurally identical to an individual RRSP that you'd open at a bank.
But it's just offered through your employer.
Exactly. It's offered on a group basis for administrative ease and the power of scale.
So what's the immediate advantage of that, of being in the group?
The biggest one is cost. Because all the assets are pooled together, members usually pay much, much lower management fees than they would on a retail plan.
Okay, but there's always a trade-off.
There is. The trade-off is often choice. You might have significantly fewer investment options in a GRRSP.
So if you're a hands-on investor who likes niche funds, it might feel a bit limiting.
It could. But if you're someone who just wants to buy low-cost index funds and forget about it, a GRRSP is often a massive win.
And beyond the fees, there's a powerful behavioral benefit to the GRSP too.
You're hitting on the consistency factor. It usually works as a simple payroll savings plan.
Right.
And because the contributions just come off your paycheck automatically, you get that long-term advantage of disciplined automated savings that just, it happens without you thinking about it.
Which is key for successful long-term planning. Now, unlike the DPSP, which had that strict rule about owners not participating, the GRSP is more open.
Much more open. Because it's just a standard RSP in a group wrapper, there are no structural restrictions on who can be eligible. It's open to anyone under the group's terms.
And this next part, I think, is maybe the biggest strategic advantage the GRSP has over the DPSP, because it keeps that RRSP identity. Features like the home buyer's plan or the lifelong learning plan are available.
This is a massive functional advantage. The ability to use the home buyer's plan, the HBP, to pull out money tax-free for a first home.
Or the LLP for education.
Or the lifelong learning plan, yes. That provides incredible flexibility for major life events that happen before retirement.
And the DPSP just doesn't offer that.
It doesn't. That makes the GRRSP far more versatile, especially for younger members.
Okay, let's nail down the contribution rules for the GRSP because it's totally different from the DPSP's employer-only model.
Completely different. This is a shared responsibility. Primarily, contributions are made by the employees.
And those contributions are tax-deductible for me, the employee.
Just like any RRSP contribution you'd make yourself, it's just done through payroll.
But the employer can also contribute, right?
Well,
often as a match. And this is the critical difference. If my employer puts money into my GRRSP, what happens on my tax slip?
so here's the key distinction. Employer contributions to a GRRSP are considered taxable income for the employee immediately. It
Oh,
shows up right there on your T4 slip. The employee gets the money, pays tax on it, and then the money goes into the plan.
wait a second. So if my employer matches, say, $1,000, that $1,000 is immediately taxed, but it's going into an RRSP, so I can just deduct it, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't that just create a wash?
It creates an administrative step, for sure, but here's why it works that way. For the employer, they get an immediate business deduction. It's just a wage expense.
And they don't have to deal with the pension adjustment calculations.
No PA calculations at all. For you, the employee, as long as you have the RRSP room, the deduction you claim cancels out the income, so it ends up being tax neutral.
But the key point is it uses your existing contribution room.
It uses your existing room. It doesn't reduce your future room like the DPSP does.
So to be clear, my total contributions, my personal RRSP, my GRRSP contributions, plus my employer's match all of that together, can't go over my RRSP deduction limit for the year.
Exactly. It just follows standard RRSP rules. No mysterious pension adjustment.
Okay, let's try to synthesize this. If we break it down into the two most important strategic differences,
Right.
what are the two pillars here?
I think you can summarize it like this. The DPSP is an employer-funded profit-sharing tool.
Right.
It has restricted eligibility, no owners, and it creates a pension adjustment, that PA, which acts like a debt against your future RRSP room.
Okay, that's pillar one.
Pillar 2 is the GRRSP. It's an employee-driven tax deferral tool. It has open eligibility. It uses your existing RRSP room. And critically, it keeps access open to things like the homebuyer's plan and the lifelong learning plan.
That is a crystal clear picture.
Okay.
Just to confirm the flexibility on the way out, what are the exit ramps for a GRRSP?
Since it's basically just a portable RSP, the options are really straightforward. You can transfer the funds to your personal RSP or RSP when you leave,
Or cash it out?
or cash it out. But if you cash it out, of course, you face immediate taxation, just like any normal RRSP withdrawal.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener, trying to figure out your benefits or decide how to save?
Well, the practical application is to really understand your employer's incentives. If you're a high earner and your goal is to maximize every single dollar of tax-deferred space,
You have to watch that DPSP pension adjustment closely.
you do. It's valuable money, but it actively limits your future personal savings flexibility.
But if you're, say, a new grad and your main goal is saving for a down payment,
Then the GRRSP's direct link to the homebuyer's plan makes it incredibly valuable from a strategic point of view.
yeah.
The choice really hinges on what you value more.
Is it the pure employer funding that eats up your future contribution room, the DPSP?
Or is it the structure that keeps your HBP and LLP options on the table while using your existing RRSP limit, the GRRSP?
That really is the essential insight. And since both plans offer that critical non-locked-in status, we have to end with a final provocative thought for you to consider. We've established that both allow access while you're still employed, and neither is governed by that strict pension legislation. But when you're planning for those big non-retirement life purchases, which plan structure gives you the maximum strategic benefit? The one that only uses employer money but reduces your future room, or the one that opens up those key HBP and LLP options while using your existing room? That's something for you to explore on your own.
Yeah, the answer really involves weighing that long-term retirement capacity against your immediate life flexibility.
That was a fantastic deep dive. Thank you so much for joining us as we unpack the strategic differences between the DPSP and the GRRSP.
Until next time.